Can you explain why returning power and funding to states, school boards, parents, and teachers is actually a good thing for a child's education?
Well, first and foremost, parents are the most important part of any child's education. An involved parent is the number one driver of student success. So, as much power and control that can go back to the parent is what needs to happen. For some reason in America, education became this behemoth. I think we know that reason. When the Department of Education was created by Jimmy Carter, it was a promise to the teachers union. And since the Department of Education has grown and grown in Washington, D.C., and satellite offices all over the United States, we've seen the teachers union have so much more power. Riley, when I was a school board member, I was shocked when I learned how much control the teachers unions had on my kids' education. In collective bargaining, things like when the kids would eat lunch were decided. There were parents who were upset because sometimes lunch would be served at like 10 o'clock in the morning. That was part of the collective bargaining agreement that we had in our district. And so it was just shocking to see that. And then COVID happened. And I think all of America saw the teachers union so involved in, school closures or school reopening, the CDC's guidelines, right? Randy was right in there. Randy Weingarten, the head of the AFT, was right in there affecting the decisions that were being made. And so the local control is the most important. I know we're probably going to talk about that Supreme Court case that was just heard, Mahmoud v. Taylor in Montgomery County. Those are fundamental rights. So there's a role for the federal government in protecting our rights and freedoms and our civil rights like Title IX. But other issues should be left up to local control. And certainly, responding to what a community needs. And every community is going to be different. You're going to have kids who are coming from different backgrounds, who may have different needs, may need different supports in the school. So as much power that Secretary McMahon can give back down to the governors, who will hopefully be listening to constituents, listening to their Board of Education, and really, giving the districts the freedom to meet the needs of the students that they have in their school community, the better off that kids and parents will be. Also, if you have a problem, you send an OCR complaint, an Office of Civil Rights complaint up to Washington, D.C. That's far away from Utah or Washington or Oregon or even Florida, right? And what happens there, this Federal Department of Education? If you have a problem as a parent, you need to be able to go to the most local source and talk to them. You want to talk to the decision makers. So all around, just really, really good for local control to be supported by the president and Secretary McMahon.